guys, so long time no video. The first thing you might notice, I don't even know if you're gonna be able to notice, but I did darken my hair up. The red was kind of just like looking really wonky, so I actually dyed it myself, which I've never done before. I have really thick hair, so it was a challenge. I think it looks okay. I think at the back I missed a little bit of the hair, but like it's not really that noticeable. I used the Nice and Easy foam hair dye, which I do not recommend. It was horrible. It smelled like cigars. It was disgusting. But yeah, so that's the brand that I used, the new foam kind. It was nice because it didn't drip, but it smelled absolutely disgusting, and my hair smelled like a cigar for like a day afterwards. So that's just a little side note. But actually, I'm here to do another book review. This one is on Match by Allie Condie. This I read about a month ago. I finished it. I'm really into these young adult books. I know I find it kind of embarrassing, the fact that all I read are just these like stories about teenage girls. Not a teenager anymore, but these books are just so much fun. They're so easy to get through. The stories I find are really captivating, and they kind of are those books where they're like total page turners. So this book is actually the first book in, I believe, what is a trilogy. This book follows Cassia. She's the main character, and she lives in this society where it's basically a dystopian novel similar to like Hunger Games, Maze Runner, you know, this kind of like world where things are completely different. And so in her world, they live in kind of like this perfect society that's been created for them. So you die at a certain age. Your food is rationed out to you based on like your height and your weight, so you get the perfect amount of food. They only have 100 poems, 100 songs, I think 100 books. That's all there is. So all the old songs, all the old poems, the old literature has been wiped away, and their government has picked like the top 100, and that's all they have. So it's basically like this really, really structured society. And it kind of the story surrounds the idea of your perfect match. So everyone is matched to a member of the opposite sex, and they are like your ideal match based on like tests they've done. They've determined that these people are like your 100% ideal match. You'll have the perfect relationship. So Cassia's story begins around her matching ceremonies, and that's where you go to find out who your marriage partner is going to be. And she ends up getting paired with Xander, who is her best friend. He lives on her street, someone she's known for her whole life. And so and this is really rare that you would get matched to someone that you know. So she's over the moon that she's matched to someone who she already knows. It's so much easier. So she's really excited about this. But then a little while after her matching ceremony, she receives a micro card. And this micro card shows you all about your match. And when she puts her microcard in, there's a glitch. And it's actually not Xander whose face comes up on her screen, but Kai Markham, who is another boy that she knows not very well, but he lives in her neighborhood, and she's seen him around. So his face flashes for a split second, and then it goes back to Xander. So this idea is planted in Cassia's head of, is Xander my real match? And once the idea is kind of just planted in her head, she kind of becomes obsessed with this Kai character in the book, and she wants to get to know him and find out, you know, maybe there isn't one perfect match for every person. Maybe society isn't perfect, and this one image of Kai on that card kind of just gets her thinking, like, are we doing everything correctly? Is society the way it should be? Should we only live to a certain age? Should we, you know, only be matched to one person? So it's kind of like starts all these questions in her mind that she never really thought about before. And the book kind of explores her two choices, Kai and Xander, and it goes through Cassia's thinking of who she's going to end up with, if she should stick with society and go with Xander, or if she should defy the norms and go with Kai, and that has consequences, obviously. So that's kind of where the book goes. I found it really, really interesting, really well written, easy to read, captivated my attention throughout, and I actually immediately after went and picked up Frost, which is the second book in the series. I believe there's a third book, but I don't think it's out yet. This book I'm not going to do a separate video on because I thought this book was horrible. It started out interesting, very fast paced, but about, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way in, it was just so boring and the story was so drawn out, and it kind of, it isn't just Cassia telling the story, so you get different perspectives, but they're written like, it sounds like sometimes you forget who's talking because they're written so similarly, like there was no real distinction between the characters, so in that sense they weren't developed very well. This one I wouldn't waste your money. You can read the first one. I feel like read the first one if you want to know what happens, then just like read like a synopsis or watch a review on this book. It's definitely not worth reading. This one took me so long to read. I would read it, put it down, go back to it like a week later. So this one I really enjoyed, and this one I did not enjoy at all. So kind of interesting as they're from the same author. They're on similar streams, so just like this one, I don't know what happened. But so that is it for my book review on Match. Let me know if you've read either of the books. I'd be interested in hearing someone else's opinion on them. And that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!